Erica Lynn Speaks podcast is a place where you can grow beyond your limitations and make an impact on the world. I am Erica Lynn. I will teach you how to take the restraints off of you, begin to live free, and become unstoppable. Go to ericalynnspeaks.com.
I say Erica Lynn Speaks. Erica Lynn Speaks.
Hello. This is your girl, Erica Lynn, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. Y'all, we doing part two up in here tonight. And y'all know how we do on Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. We like to play big or go home. So if y'all are not here to play big, to help in some type of way, to contribute some information, knowledge, money, whatever, then you in the wrong place today, because we trying to take these brothers to another level, because what they are doing is magnificent, and they're not focused on themselves. They're focused on all other people besides themselves. So you guys, last week we had part one where we had Kenneth Nixon, Larry Smith Jr., and Marvin Cotton and Gregory on the podcast, and they were exonerated from prison within the last 2 years. The time frame was between 15 to 27 years of incarceration between the four of them. And I was just like, I was blown away, you guys. And I know many of you all were blown away from some of the things that you had to hear. And so I told these brothers, I know they have so much information that they had to share, so much knowledge, and we couldn't do it in one podcast, because I knew y'all wasn't going to sit here for about 2-3 hours listening to us talk. So we said, guess what? We'll bring y'all back so that we can finish up what we started and provide some more information. And so I'm so excited, because these brothers are phenomenal. If I could spell phenomenal right now, I would, but you know, I ain't in the spelling game tonight. Anyway, don't pay me no attention. Look, last week I was just like, okay, I got to get back in the swing of things, right? The first podcast. But y'all know when you do something in repetition, what you do, you just keep getting better and better and better. I thank God to still be here. I have beat COVID. You know, unfortunately, as I said last week, I lost my brother, and God rest his soul. But as I keep moving forward and bringing more people to the limelight and providing their stories, because their story might help you. It might be a question that you had to yourself and you just didn't know who to go to ask the question or get the answer. And so I'm going to always bring on guests that's going to enlighten you and help you grow to your next level. So without further ado, I want you guys to welcome my guests back again tonight. So I want you to welcome Kenneth Nixon, Larry Darnell Smith Jr., and Marvin Cotton Jr. Hello, fellas. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I am wonderful. I'm so glad to have you guys back tonight. I was hoping y'all didn't run out on me, because like the faux pas we had last week, but I was like, oh, they're coming back. They some troopers. Right. So the way we're going to get started tonight is I want you guys to reintroduce yourself to the audience, for those who did not get a chance to watch the podcast last week and to get familiar with you all. So I just want you to reintroduce yourself, tell them who you are, how long you have been incarcerated, what facility that you were released from, and let's give them your release date. Okay? So we're going to start with you up at the top tonight, Kenneth.
My name is Kenneth Nixon. I was incarcerated for 15 years and 9 months. I was exonerated February 18th of this year, 2021, and I walked out of Michigan Reformatory.
Wow. You know, look, I know when you walked out, I got to ask, what is the first thing that you did when you walked out?
The first thing I did when I walked out, smile. And then I seen them guys out in the parking lot. I didn't even know who they were at the time, but they were there to welcome me home, and I was happy for it.
That's fantastic. Now, Larry, let's go to you.
My name is Larry Darnell Smith Jr. I went to prison in 1994. I got out of prison February 4th, 2021. I served 27 years in crime for I didn't commit a murder. and it wasn't no fun.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. You know how people be saying, "Oh, I feel you. Oh, I understand." I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't feel you. I don't understand, and I can't imagine. That's the realest I can get. But
That's right.
I'm gonna pray for you. So tell us, what is the first thing that you did when you walked out of those doors?
Oh, shoot. I walked out of Adrian Correctional Facility. I read almost a 4-page a letter telling them about wrongfully convicted people that was in the prison, medically frail people, and over-sentenced people. And I implored the public and the governor to do something about it because I had contracted COVID inside of that place, other my comrades. So that's what I did, straight to the business. Straight to the business. Wasn't out 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. I know who I want on my team. All right, Mr. Marvin Cotton, it's up to you. Let us know a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Marvin Cotton Jr., and I was arrested and convicted in 2001. I spent 19 years, 7 months, and 12 days in prison for a crime I didn't commit. Like my brother, and I was convicted of first-degree murder and felony firearm. I was sentenced to natural life in prison without the possibility of parole. I got out last October 1st, so my 1-year anniversary is coming up in a few days. And I walked out of Brooks Correctional Facility in Muskegon. So I actually found out that I was getting out October 1st. Yesterday was the 1-year anniversary for that.
Okay. And so you got to tell us, what is the first of all, congratulations to all of you all, right? I'm with you, Larry. Congratulations. I'm so excited that you guys are here, bring on my black men back to society, honey, because I know there's some women was waiting on y'all. That's another story. So Marvin, can you tell us what is the first thing you did when you walked out of those doors?
Well, first of all, I ran out of those doors. But the first thing that I wanted to do and that I did was got me a bath. I wanted a bath. I hadn't had a bath in almost 20 years, and that's what I had. That's what I've been wanting to do for the last 20 years.
Wow. Yeah. And I could relate to that because to the bath part, because I had a house where they didn't make the bathtub big as it was supposed to be. So when I sat in the bathtub, all the water jumped out. So I never could take a bath in the tub. I always had to take showers. And so I would always have to go to like hotels and things like that and get in the jacuzzi all the time. And so I truly understand the need for wanting to take a bath. It's very refreshing, right? So anyway, you guys, I'm like I said, I'm so excited that you're back. We got some important issues that we want to talk about. You guys are doing some big things coming up, and we're going to share it with people because after the show was over, I was some of the messages said, how do they donate to you guys, and how do they reach out to you? So I kind of want to touch on the donate part in the beginning, and then we'll touch on it in the end. So that way, as we're going through the show, if people want to donate to you guys, they can. Jalen, can you put the Linktree link up, please? So the reason why we're going to talk about the donate, you guys are going to Missouri next week. Now, Larry, can you tell us why you're going to Missouri next week?
Because it's some wrongfully convicted people down there, and we going to let it be known once again, and hopefully one of them going to walk out of there, and we going to be right there with the yellow shirt. But that's why we going. We going to show and represent that there's wrongfully convicted people across America, and we were some, and we want the word to be out because we want them guys out of there.
Yeah. And so one of the gentlemen that you are fighting for is Kevin Strickland, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Kenneth, can you touch on that, on Kevin Strickland? A little bit about
Yes, ma'am.
Kevin, do you know?
Kevin Strickland has been incarcerated for 43 years for a crime that he didn't commit. The local prosecutor now has gone public and stated that after her reinvestigation that she believes that he's innocent. This is the people that sent him to prison for the rest of his life are now stating that they made a mistake. However, The shocking part about this is that the Attorney General of Missouri is standing in the way. Eric Schmidt is standing in the way of justice being served. He's fighting the release of Kevin Strickland based off of procedural issues, saying that Kevin Strickland missed his deadline to prove his innocence. So for anybody that doesn't know anything about the legal system, to simplify that statement, it means that because Kevin Strickland missed a deadline that he could not have possibly met without the information that the prosecutor had in their possession, he has to die in prison. And this is what the Attorney General is arguing. Innocent or not, because he missed a deadline, he must die in prison.
So let me get this correct. He was found innocent, but because of some paperwork jargon, they don't want to let him out of prison, even though his conviction was overturned. Is that correct?
No,
his conviction hasn't been overturned yet. The prosecutor is trying to get it overturned, and the Attorney General is trying to prevent the prosecutor from going on record and saying they screwed up.
Right. Oh, okay. All right. Marvin, you want to add to that?
Oh, no, I just wanted to make sure that was clear, that the conviction has not been overturned yet. But the local prosecutor, the same office that actually prosecuted him 43 years ago, has gone on record and came up with a laundry list of things and reasons why he should no longer be in prison. They said they believe he is innocent, but because of procedural things, the big government, or the Attorney General's office, and the governor saying that this innocent man must die in prison because he didn't file an appeal within the first 14 days after his conviction, with information that they hid from him 43 years ago. He had no way of even knowing that the information existed. He had no way of knowing, or of course he knew that witnesses were lying on him, but they recanted that information in the recent history. And now he's appealing, and the local government is backing him up, and the Attorney General is fighting him on that, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Hey, Marvin, so much that they went on national television and apologized to him. He's incarcerated, and the prosecutor who is responsible for the investigation is on national television, on world news, on 60 Minutes, making an apology on behalf of Missouri. And the AG don't want to accept what the people, what they got these people hired for. If they don't have the ability to rationalize and look through a conviction and come up with the determination that the person is innocent. It worked to put him in there.
Yeah.
The system is so messed up that they give the prosecutors in Missouri have the ability to pursue someone and have them convicted and face the death penalty, but they don't have the power to free somebody that is innocent.
Unbelievable.
So I want to ask you this, and you guys might not know the number, but if you took a guess, what is the average number of wrongfully convicted in the Wayne County or in Michigan?
I don't know about Michigan, but I do know nationally, the statistics is they believe that there is up to 10,000 people wrongfully convicted a year in the country. And that that's been done by studies, but it may be more than that. You know, we've all ran into people in prison that was doing somebody else's time. Some pled guilty because of the circumstances probably would have got them found guilty, even though they didn't do it. Some of them pled guilty to charges that they didn't do, but they did do something, but they didn't do what they're actually serving time for. Then you have straight up innocent people in prison where either the police department or a prosecutor office manufactured things or got witnesses to say things that was not true. So you have a host of reasons why innocent men and women are sitting in prison.
So, Kenneth, do you care to touch on that?
Absolutely. So the statistics also say that Michigan has consistently been in the top 5 recorded year after year since 1989 for highest numbers of exonerations, year after year. We breached the over 100 just not too long ago, and it's it's ridiculous. It's crazy that this is continuing to happen, and this is even still a subject of conversation in 2021. We're still talking about innocent people being sent to prison, and we're still talking about how the government is fighting to prevent innocent people from regaining their freedom after it's been proven that they were innocent. The statistics speak for themselves. That old famous saying, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The facts are the fact. You can't adjust the numbers consistently year after year. The numbers in Michigan are ridiculously high, top 5 in the country year after year. That says a lot about the politics and the criminal justice system here, just in Michigan alone. That doesn't include, all the other states, but just specifically Michigan, we have a problem. There's a huge problem here, and it's not being addressed, or it wasn't being addressed before guys in yellow shirts started showing up. Now we're addressing that problem head on, because we are what injustice looks like. We were those people at one point or another. We have friends that are sitting in prison in the same exact situation that we were in at one point or another. And we bound together because we understood it was our responsibility to speak up for those people.
Yeah. Yeah. And wow, that's deep. We always like, you see people one day, and then all of a sudden they just disappear, and you never know where they went to. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, he was a good guy. It was a good person. And females are being wrongfully convicted as well, correct?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
And so you guys spoke about, I don't know if it was you or Ricardo, I spoke about a female that you knew that was released as well, that was exonerated. And what was her name?
Our sister
Julie Barman.
Yep.
Yep.
You said Jules Barman?
Julie Barman.
Julie Barman. And how long was she incarcerated?
5 years. Almost 5 years.
Yeah. And that has to be a lot. Does she have children? Do you guys know?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe so. Julie have any children.
Mm-hmm. But still, nobody wants to be away. And Kenneth, you had said that, like, you guys all have friends that have been incarcerated. And I had a conversation with Ricardo. Jalen, we're going to do part 1. I had a conversation with Ricardo Farrell, and I had played some of our conversations last week on the podcast. He and I did like a 13-minute interview, but I chopped it up for sake of time. And in this part that I'm about to play, he mentioned names of a lot of people who were wrongfully convicted, including my uncle, Leonard Bradford Bay. And so I wanted to make sure that I play that part, because there are a lot of people that's incarcerated that nobody knows about. And so I feel like, at least on this platform, if we're able to mention your name, and if people forgot about you or didn't hear you, at least now this is one place, like, I'm doing my part, right? This is one place that we're acknowledging that we know that you're here, and whatever it is that we can do to help you that's in our power, that we're here to fight for you. So Jalen, can you play part 1 video with Ricardo and I?
Prison. I had a friend who got locked up around the same time as I did, back in 1981, and he never made it out. He died before he was able to prove his innocence. So I always think about him whenever I cover these stories. Nowadays, you have the Michigan Innocent Clinic, the Thomas Cooley Innocent Project, the Wayne County Conviction Integrity Unit, the statewide Conviction Integrity Unit, and the newly established Washington County Conviction Integrity Unit. If not from these entities being available for people to fight to prove their innocence, many, and I mean many, men and women would likely have stayed in prison serving de facto death sentences. My late friend never had an opportunity to be reviewed by any Innocent Project or CIU. There are people like Raymond Gray, Vargas and Marco Johnson, Tracy Cowan, Jason Bowers, Tamara Washington, David Shelton, Jawan Deering.
Take that on. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Look, technology is technology.
We live. It happens.
It does. It happens. I don't know if look, last week we had the rain. This week is going slow. When I uploaded the video, I had it all crooked and sideways. So once he fixes it, he'll leave us a message in the chat box, and then we'll at least try to get it out. And so I want you guys to give a little bit of information to people. When you are wrongfully convicted, what are some of the first steps that you can take to help plead your innocence? We can start with you, Marvin.
Well, as soon as you're sentenced, one of the first things that you have to do is you have to file a notice of appeal. You have to let them know that you intend to appeal. All of us, and I'm sure I can speak for Larry and Ken, no one knows what to do as soon as you're convicted. All you know how to do is plead your case, and you pleading your case has already fallen on deaf ears for as long as you have been in there until that conviction. But all of us had to learn the hard way. We all had to go into the law library. You want to get into the law library immediately so that you can begin to learn what we should be learning in society, learning about your constitutional rights, learning about what law enforcement can do and cannot do, learn about procedures and what went wrong. Because in Michigan, until recently, you saying that you are innocent doesn't even matter more than procedure. I know you hear the word a lot, procedure. We talking about procedure in the Kevin Strickland case. We're talking about procedure in really every case, because there's a lot of rules to where if you don't follow the rules when you file your appeal, they would deny it without ever even looking at your issues or reasons for appealing. So they have you jump over what we call in the legal world hurdles. So you got to jump over the hurdles so that you can get your issues heard. But even the issues that you have heard have to meet different prong tests. So not only do you have to jump over these hurdles, the issues that you raise have to align up with other legal cases that took place before you. So those are even more hurdles. So getting your innocence claim in front of a judge or in front of somebody that can actually make a decision on your incarceration, you have to jump over many hurdles. So anybody that's fighting have to become educated.
Yeah.
Have to become educated, and they have to educate themselves. And if you're fortunate enough to end up with a great attorney, I ended up with a great attorney. Eventually, I went through maybe 8, 9 attorneys before I got the attorney that walked me out the door, Christina Larson Dunn. You're very blessed if you end up with a great attorney as well as become educated.
Yeah.
Educate yourself, hopefully connect with a great attorney, and then keep the pressure on them. Never let them feel you resting, because all of us fought until the day that we walked out of the door. And we never turned that fight off. Now we're just fighting for other people. One of the things that I learned was, and you said this last show, that some of the most connected people that you've run into are people that's incarcerated. You want to be connected with people out here in society. If you're incarcerated and you're fighting, or if you have a family member or a loved one that is incarcerated and they're fighting, make sure you connect them with people. Connect them with newspaper reporters, connect them with lawyers, connect them with paralegals, connect them with private investigators, connect them with experts, connect them with writers, connect them with any and everybody you can think of, because you never know which one of those people are going to help open or break the case wide open. You never know.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times, and maybe I get you some hate mail, and maybe even me some hate mail for saying what I'm about to say. But sometimes men that's fighting for their lives, the woman in their life don't want them to communicate with other women or communicate with anybody outside of themselves. Allow them the freedom and the space to meet and connect with as many people as possible, because you never know who's going to know some information or connect you with some information.
Absolutely. You are absolutely correct. Like, I can't even stress that anymore, because even I talk about Ricardo, but I met Ricardo through my uncle that is incarcerated. And Ricardo and I like, sometimes I would never even know that he's in, because we communicate all the time. We do business together. Like, he's connected me to some of the most amazing people. Jalen, leave that question up. To some of the most amazing people. And then when he called me today, I had him on speakerphone, and he's telling about who his son is and what he do. And my son is my oldest son was going on Instagram, because they have, my son and his son have some of the similar interests. So you just never know who people are, who are they connected to, and how their connections can help you. But I want to address this question Martha Lett had put in the comment section. She said, did any one of you guys reach out to the lady from last week that asked you about, how to help her son that's in prison?
Yeah, we did. We reached out to her. We actually have our division. We have a division of the National Organization of Exonerees, where our brother H. Law Anthony Legion, he looks over these cases for us, because we need a screening process. We don't have all the resources like the University of Michigan or these other colleges. We guys who come from the side of the bunk. So yes, we did reach out to her. We sent her some information. She'll begin with Anthony, and we're going to try to help. I mean, just because somebody says that someone is innocent, we have to review it, and we have to see it for ourselves. We need to see that same vision that they see. So for people out there, when y'all reach out to us, put together a summary. Talk to your loved one or who you represent, and ask them to provide you with a summary, short to the point, what put them there and what information they have that we can look into that'll get them out of there. And also, Leonard Bradford Bay is one of the names that I did say on television the day I was released from prison, for the record.
That's right. Because I want to add to what you were saying, Marvin. When do everything that you can, but also your family should still be encouraged, right, to write letters and things like that, and still advocate on your behalf as well, right? Because sometimes when you go in, I do understand that family get tired or they get weary or whatever, but still keep calling, still keep writing letters, still keep showing up saying, hey, I know that this is my family member and they are incarcerated, but they do have family out here. So we're watching. We're here to find out if anything goes wrong. And so a lot of times, like you said, when you put the pressure on from inside, outside, then they know that, oh, this person has family that cares about him or her.
Right. I've never met one person that can do everything. And I'm sure my brothers will attest to that too. We all of us had like very small support systems. But I never knew one person that can do everything, because somebody incarcerated will wear one person out. because if you're dependent on one person to do everything, do your research, make your phone calls, get on the internet online and find out information and print this out, and I need some help paying for this, and you will, and I've met people that can handle that for 90 days, maybe. But after a while, you will wear one person out. So help your incarcerated loved one build a team.
Yeah.
Help your incarcerated loved one to build a team, as well as reach and connect with other families that have wrongfully convicted people incarcerated, and build a team amongst yourself. Because when you write a letter and say that we are part of the Wrongful Conviction Families of Michigan, an organization with 100 members, your letter get a different type of response than you writing a letter by yourself. I guarantee you that, because all they see is 100 voters. They can potentially get 1,000 more people to vote with them.
Wow. And then Marvin, you just touched on the fact of why we out there promoting for the people to vote. Because it's them same policies and procedures that got their foot on our neck. We always talking about these laws in America, but we saying it like these laws in America was made for us. So if we want some laws in America to be made for us, than them 100 people that Marvin talking about to get them 1,000 voters, to get them 10,000 voters. Because you got to look at all these guys with these numbers on their back who've been in facilities incarcerated throughout America, just in Michigan alone. For us, it's 30 of us, but look at all these other guys who got numbers with the right to vote. So now we got a position of power, and that's where we stand. We want ours back. That's why I asked you if you knew Van Jones. Because like I said, we want ours back. We want an opportunity on a national platform. That's why we stepping up to take it. That's why we on here. That's why we going to Missouri. We want Michigan. We want Detroit. We want these wrongful convictions. We want the laws. We don't want to get Kenworthy no excuse. We want the laws to fit. We want to get them laws that they can work with. If somebody in power for 4 or 5 years, why am I complaining about that? I need to be trying to figure out some type of way to get them to move and be motivated to let Leonard Bradford out of prison. 68 years old, 47 years in prison. Crime he ain't commit. Larry T. Smith, his co-defendants say he innocent. Now you tell me, America, y'all look at it. That's all I got to say for right now.
Hey, say it now. Look, say it. Look, I don't know if I was about to start shouting, but whatever it is, I'm feeling it. You know, sometimes when the spirit hits you, you just got to let it flow through you, okay? So before I go back to Ricardo's video, Martha in the audience had a question for all of you guys, because I'm sure that the ladies was wondering this last week. And so I want to make sure that we ask this question this week. And Mary, she wants to know, where you go? Okay. Martha Lett wants to know, are you guys all married? We can start.
I'm not married. Hey, I ain't married. I'm not married, but I got the same lady in my life for the past 27 years plus. And she held me down while I was on the wrong side on the bunk. She held me down. I know she know firsthand about the pressures that Marvin spoke of in a relationship and how you need a team. And I'm so grateful to Teresa for being my team member, for holding me down and helping me get off the side of that bunk, out of that bad place. Her, Deborah Smith, Claudia Whitman, or NCAD. I'm so grateful to these women. Mary Owens, because I had a squad and predominantly was women. Oh yeah, Scott Lewis, appreciate you too, man. But again, like Marvin said, I had a team and it was predominantly women. And I'm just grateful to them, Martha and every other woman out there who on here to support us and ask these type of questions. Because Ken is handsome and Marvin is handsome. And I'm the ugly guy of the bunch.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Shout out to Teresa and all the women that helped you fight your fight. Now, Kenneth, the question goes to you. Are you married?
I'm not married, but I am in a relationship. You know, I am not a bachelor. I am open. This is not open for discussion. You know, there is someone in my life, and she'd be highly upset if I answered this question incorrectly. So no, I am not married, but I am in a relationship.
Right. Hey, look, because after the podcast is over, I don't want to see on the news, well, we answered the question wrong on Erica Lynn Speaks podcast, and now everybody got a bump or bruise on top of their head. No, I don't advocate violence, but you know, sometimes you strike a nerve. I don't know. So what about you, Marvin?
Well, yes, I am in a relationship. I'm actually in a relationship with, you know, a woman that's been a dear friend to me for the last 23 years. She rocked out with me the entire time I was in prison. But as a friend, we've, you know, had a friendship that predated prison. And I got out and I pursued her. And fortunately, I wore her down enough to where she agreed to be in a relationship with me.
Right.
and that's definitely me and her, we are team.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's good. And I noticed you used that word earlier, but that is true in a relationship. You guys, that's a team. You guys are team players, you know, and that's good. That shows that she got your back. At least you ain't never got to worry about if she got your back, you know.
Yeah, she anywhere I'm slipping, anywhere I'm weak, she's very strong. She don't let me slip at all. She got my back even when I don't realize that I need somebody to fill in that gap, she's right there.
Yeah, that's good. Shout out to all the women in you guys' life. Hello, ladies. Look, y'all have to come on my podcast. I want to hear from the women that's supported the men, right? I want to hear y'all story and like how was it, how hard it was, or how challenging it was, and what did you learn? What did you learn from this experience? And most importantly, like how strong did you guys become after going?
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Right. She like to play the background.
That's all right. That's all right. Hey, Jalen, if your connection is good, then we can put the little separate up there of Ricardo. Okay. All right. So I wanted him to put the first video.
Yeah. So we see this. So do you have? Yeah, so we see this. So do you have a message of hope that you can leave someone before this call ends?
Right, and possibly I can say in reference to a message of hope, just keep on fighting, keep on standing up for yourself, and you gotta fight. And then, like I said, with these entities that's now in place, the Innocent Project, the Innocent Clinic of University of Michigan, the statewide Conviction Integrity Unit, the Wayne County Conviction Integrity Unit, that's giving people hope, because you see more and more people getting out, like Larry Smith, Ramon Ward, Bernard Howard, Gregory Berry. I can go on and on and on. But my point is it happened for them, it can happen for you. So the message of hope I would like to lend to everyone is that you got to utilize these entities. You got to get yourself in the court. You got to get yourself in front of these conviction integrity units to be reviewed. So that's the message I would like to leave with everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, Ricardo. I really appreciate you lending your voice to Erica Lynn Speaks.
I love my editor, right? Somebody needs to meet. Okay. So I love my producer / editor, because when we first did it, when Ricardo and I recorded, that saying, you got 1 minute left. And I really wanted him to leave that part in, because I want people to understand, like, when you're on the phone talking to an inmate, you only have a certain limit of time to talk. And then they got that same voice. You got 1 minute left. And I don't care if you like, let me try to get 65 seconds in. No, at 60 seconds, your call is going to end. So you got to hurry up and say what you got to say, because that's it. Right?
And
you living life.
Hold it. And you got to wait 15, 20 minutes in between phone calls. So, and you got to wait on the line again.
You got to wait on what, Larry?
You have to wait in between phone calls. So if you talk to somebody, you just can't call them right back. If you get cut off, they have to wait 15 to 20 minutes. Some prisons, 30 minutes in between before they can call back. And that's not including if there's other people in the line waiting for their opportunity to use the phone. That could turn into a 2.5, 3 hour process if you had that type of time in their facility.
Hey, look, we got somebody in the audience. Mute your thing, Larry. Alicia was saying 15 minutes on and wait 15 minutes to call back. So Alicia, huh?
That's one of our sisters. That's one of our sisters in the struggle right there.
Mm-hmm. Jason Bowers. We know who Jason Bowers is.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Alicia, for letting the world know who Jason Bowers is.
That's right.
That's right. Advocate.
We all do.
Yeah. So listen, I want to ask you guys, because they want to know, what is one of the toughest challenges that you had since you have been out? And we can start with you, Kenneth.
Man, one of the toughest challenges is just finding your way back into society, just really rebuilding your life and really finding where you fit in, what's good for you. I think that's been one of my toughest challenges. We all kind of gravitated to this fight because this part comes easy to us, right? This part is our strength. This is where we feel good. We feel comfortable fighting because we've all done it for decades. This part, it's easy. the part that's hard is really breaking down and really getting back into society as, you know, a law-abiding citizen and learning your place in society and really just getting back on your feet. You know, everybody on this call, none of us have been compensated anything. I think we addressed that last week. You know, none of us have been compensated. So, you know, we're scraping by. You know, we're on our knuckles a lot, just really on a day-to-day basis. You know, everything that we're doing, all of the traveling, all the advocacy work, that stuff comes out of pocket. So, you know, our every move is setting us up for our next move. You know, this here is putting us in a position where, you know, sometime at a later date, we can look back at this and say, you know, this helped us get to the next place. That's how we live our lives on a regular basis, because, you know, it's not that simple when you're trying to get a job. We all still have convictions on our record. You know, anytime we get a background check run for a job, convictions show up, even though it's not our fault, you know, and there's nothing that we can really do about it except complain to the people in power. But, you know, those are things that we're addressing on a regular basis so that the people that come after us, you know, they don't have to deal with that stuff. When Jason Bowers come home, hopefully he doesn't have to deal with the difficulties that we had to deal with. So that is a huge burden for each and every one of us. You know, the process takes so long to be compensated. It's just, you know, it's sad that we've all gone months. Marv has gone, you know, close to a year, and we're still trying to figure out what true life really looks like. You know, we don't understand because we haven't been there. So much changed in those decades that we were gone. We're just trying to figure out where we fit.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And you know, like I said before, that's commendable that you guys are helping others despite of some of the challenges that you're having in your own financial bank account, right? And so I'm glad that you mentioned the financial challenges, because again, I mentioned it in the beginning of the show, and I wanted to mention it again during the show. Marvin, I want you to talk about the National Organization of Exonerees and how they can donate and what you guys use the money for.
Well, the National Organization of Exonerees, the group was actually started by Valerie Newman. It didn't have a name. It was put together as a support group for men and the woman in our group that spent time in prison for a crime they didn't commit, just to make sure that our voices was being heard, to make sure that we was receiving justice after justice. When I came home and became a part of the group, you know, I had been functioning inside of organizations inside of prison, so I kind of understood how to get things organized and to add a purpose. You know, and I was the first chairman of the organization. Kind of put things in perspective as far as on the direction that we should be heading in. I pushed the program hard. I thought it was time to bring in some new blood. Ken came out of prison real fiery. He stepped up, took over the reins. I talked to him. I think I talked to him too much, but me and Ken talk and text every day, all day. I talk to Larry all the time. I almost talk to all of the members in our group almost on a daily basis. But I think Ken, since he's taken over, I think he talked to everybody more now. But the whole purpose of the organization is to make it easier for every man or woman that we bring home, so that they won't have to deal with a lot of the challenges that we faced. Because when the Michigan Department of Corrections lose jurisdiction over you, when your conviction is overturned, vacated, exonerated, you walk across that parking lot literally with no strings, no help. So if you don't have family, if you don't have friends, you have nothing, especially if you don't have us. So what we do immediately when somebody come home is we try to plug them in with resources, connect them to nonprofits, connect them to we got in our network, we got people that are just good people that want to help. They're not even a part of an organization. They just want to help. So we have people like that in our network. We have people that help people get clothes, get birth certificates, get ID. We've made connections within local government just to make sure that people that have no identity when they come home can actually be plugged in and get an identity without jumping through hurdles for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 months, like we had to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Gregory was touched. Greg Berry had touched on that last week when he was on the show, was saying that in order to get ID, you needed a birth certificate or in the social security card.
Right.
But in order to get the birth certificate and the social security card, you need to have ID in order to get the two. So it's kind of like an endless triangle. And it's like, whoa, okay, how do you get past that? And Martha Lett said you guys should do a fundraising event so that people can come out and donate. And you know, if you guys are interested, we can get together and work together on the fundraiser, because I would like to be able to help in some kind of way other than just doing the podcast. Larry, so do you care to
yes, please. We with that? Yeah, I think we with that. How can we turn down some assistance, helping to build some resources? Seems like it would only make sense for us to accept that invitation are going out.
Yes, because as
what you think about that?
As a motivational speaker, I can donate my services and get up there and help motivate the crowd into helping donate into furthering the cause of what you guys are doing. The National Organization of Exonerees, you guys see the link floating around the bottom of the screen in order to donate. The link is the bit.ly / more fundraiser, Mo fundraiser. And there you go. Look, my eyes ain't that good. But anyway, you guys write down the link, and it also is in the comment section when I posted the link for the podcast on Facebook and on YouTube. So you also can go down in the comment section and click on the link, because I know some people are lazy these days. They don't like to write stuff down. It has to be clickable. If it's not clickable, then they don't want to go there, right? So I try to make it easy for everyone. But the podcast also goes into an audio form. And so I try to at least mention it verbally, so that the people who don't get to see you guys physically, but only get to hear the audio podcast from off the website, that anything that you want them to know, or a number that you want them to write down. So that's why I try to always repeat what's scrolling across the screen. So anyway,
real quick, just so your viewers know, that any dollar that is donated to our organization, your dollars will literally be funding a war machine, because we fight with every single dollar we have. So every dollar you donate, we're literally using that to make sure that the world know that wrongful convictions are real. We're using every dollar to be on the front line. We're using every dollar strategically. We are a think tank. We strategize. We play chess with this thing. So any dollar that's donated, know that we're using it to further this conversation, or even more than a conversation. We're trying to get things enacted so that the world know that this isn't something that just happens every now and then. This is something that happens all the time, and we're trying to prevent your family from experiencing this, and the families that are experiencing that, we're trying to liberate them from this experience.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And I know what I wanted to touch on. You had said that if you come out of prison and you don't have any family or anyone to lean on, that is one of the reasons why you guys have the National Organization of Exonerees. And so this is just a message to anyone who have, someone incarcerated, or if you are in the inside and somehow you get to see this podcast, now you are aware of the National Organization of Exonerees, because we want these guys to get a lot of attention, national attention, so that they can help as many people as they can. And we know you can't help people with just air. They can't help people with lint in their pockets, y'all. So I'll just ask, I'm reaching out to you guys and asking you all to help to donate to the National Organization of Exonerees, because as you can see, and as they told you, your money will go pretty far with helping others and helping them go to fight for your family. It could be your family or your loved one that they standing up there fighting for, right?
Absolutely. You know, people from all over the country, we get calls from all over the country asking about cases and stuff that they want us to get involved in. You know, that stuff takes money to do, right? We're not splurging. We're not riding around in Rolls Royces or conversion vans. You know, we're flying Spirit most of the time. You know, we're double and triple booking rooms. You know, there's 3 of us, 2 beds in a cot in room sometimes. But, you know, we don't care about that. We've slept in worse places. You know, we've eaten worse food. We deal with it as it comes. You know, we're there for the cause and the cause only. So, you know, that stuff we take on the chin because, you know, it doesn't matter to us. We take the cheapest, however we can get there. And that literally sometimes means a train, a plane, a bus, or we pile up in a borrowed car somewhere. You know, it's never any, you know, we're doing nothing extravagant. You know, last time we went to Missouri, we were in a rented van, a minivan with tinted windows. So, you know, it's not like, you know, we're doing anything extravagant or crazy. Every dollar will be spent wisely, you know, and it's all to further the cause. You know, if anybody questions our validity, all you got to do is Google our name. We've been in countless articles all over the country, you know, and that's a testament of where that money goes because, you know, we have to move people around. We're literally moving sometimes 4, 6, 8 people at a time are moving with us as we go along. And, you know, it gets important because it's necessary to ensure that we're traveling safely. You know, we're not sleeping behind a building somewhere as we're trying to do our work. You know, not to say that we wouldn't, because we also understand the importance of what we're doing. You know, this is a very, very personal issue to each and every one of us, and we do what's necessary to make sure the job gets done.
Yes, that's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful. Larry, I want to go over to you, and because Marvin answered the question, but I want to know from you and Kenneth, when you first were convicted and upon your release, the interest in leaving out, did you have a public defender or you had an attorney that you hired?
I had Claudia Whitman of NCAN. I had attorney Mary Owens for 14 years. I started out paying her. The rest of the way she went pro bono. 14 years, she walked me all the way up the ladder of courts, and I was shot down. And then her and Claudia Whitman put my case in front of the Conviction Integrity Unit of Wayne County, and ultimately it led to my release. So those 2 people were responsible. No innocent clinic. Everybody, I'm talking about every innocent clinic, they just overlooked me like this wasn't that. Like this jailhouse snitch hadn't took my life. Had this guy like he hadn't been dishonest because they wasn't looking at it as a science. Later, Georgetown would come out to say that it was a science, that jailhouse snitches was the highest ratio of false convictions. Then, you know, you're dealing with faulty identification. So I guess that's that. But hold it now, Ms. Lynn, let me say this. October 14th, Lansing, at the Capitol, show up, because the National Organization of Exonerees and another 84 organizations will be at the Capitol representing for the wrongfully convicted, the medically frail, and the over-sentenced. And we will be there to address such great things as people as Leonard Bradford, innocent, 47 years, 48 years in prison. Come on now, when is enough enough? Second look legislation, y'all. Come on down to the Capitol, October 14th. Catch Marvin, catch Ken, catch Larry, and a host of other exonerees. It's going to be enjoyable.
Yes, because I like to put my arms around Leonard and hug him, because he's been in prison before I was even born. So
yes, I hugged him.
Years, and
yeah, I hugged him every day. I hugged him. He'll tell you every day I hugged him. I couldn't hug him enough. But guess what though? We trying to hug him out here. We trying to put a yellow shirt on him because Larry Smith say he ain't do it, and not this Larry Smith, Larry T. Smith. And Larry T. Smith is respected, a very respected member of society now. He served that whole sentence, and Leonard's still in prison. And he say Leonard didn't do it. So Valerie Newman, Ken Worthy, and anybody else in authority, Leonard Bradford, please.
Yes, because he has family, and we are fighting for him, and we got him all set up for when he comes out. You know, we got him set up real good. So Kenneth, let's just touch on you because we got like 5 minutes left. I want to find out, did you have a public a court appointed attorney, or you had your private attorney?
When I first went into the system, I had a private attorney all the way up until my appeals ran out. My family was able to keep a private attorney on hand, and then after my appeals ran out, I was accepted by the Cooley Innocence Project in Lansing, and they took on my case and they walked me out of prison a short time later.
Wow, praise God, right? So I want to bring up this picture. Ricardo calls me all the time, right? So he called me today and he wanted me to make sure that that I did a rest in peace for an inmate who couldn't make it out. I was informed the day after, or 2 days after our podcast had aired. He had passed away from cancer on the inside, and it's James Calhoun. And so I just want to say rest in peace to James Calhoun. He had a 45 to 70 year sentence for second-degree murder. And so I just want to say rest in heaven, James, that your family, still love you. And I just want to send my condolences and my prayers out to your family and your loved ones. And so we'll give a 30-second. All right. So you guys, this has been a phenomenal podcast. Like part 2, I like part 2 better than part 1. I don't know. We have to I'm gonna have to rock with y'all a little bit more in the future. Just keep in touch with Erica Lynn. Like, you guys are fantastic. And I thank you all.
I think we have to figure out a way to get you to be a part of our network, because I really see something. I see something special. Maybe I'm gonna talk to the guys about where my mind is at, but I think we have to figure out a way to adopt you into our family.
That's right. I'm adoptable.
Hey, Erica, if you don't mind, I just want to thank Ricardo Farrell. I want to thank the voice of Detroit, Miss Diane. I want to thank everybody who participate and help making our future a reality, because we was on the side of the bump. Our future wouldn't have been this one right here. We'd have been doing counting a few minutes. So just to have that opportunity, and Ricardo, he in there taking count right now. I'm just hopeful that at 41 years, I'm just hoping that's enough. Governor Gretchen Whitmer, that's enough. It's some people in there that's actually doing something. And Ricardo helped put this whole show together. So for that, I want to salute Ricardo, and I want to salute every other incarcerated person who put forth that energy and that effort to being better. Ain't that right, Marvin? They don't want to be broken. No bitter.
Better not broken.
That's what I'm saying. See what Marvin said? And Marvin got that big reveal on October 1st. That being out of prison. That's important.
Absolutely. That's so important. Follow my big reveal on Instagram, _real_FMC, the real FMC.
Yeah, and you will find me on this page, and you will find Ken on this page too.
Absolutely.
If somebody type that, Sonya, my assistant, she's watching. Can you repeat that, Marvin, so that we can put it in the chat box so that other people that didn't really catch it or write it, we can write it down. So what is the reveal link?
I'll be going live on Instagram. My Instagram page, put in a request so that I can accept you, is the THE _ real REAL _FMC. The FMC, Free Marvin Cotton. That was my motto.
All right. Free Marvin Cotton. So Kenneth, I need to hear from you. By the way, I just want to say you guys are some eloquent speaking brothers. I just got to tell you that. Kenny.
Well, before we go, I want to acknowledge some people that are, speaking in the chat. So free Jason Bowers, free Richard Fisher, free Khalil Shaheen. I just want to make sure that we acknowledge those people that are still fighting and, trying to get where we are. You know, we're doing everything we can to ensure that your family, your loved ones they get where we are. You know, we're doing our best. We're giving it all we got. You know, we need support. We need the help. That's why we're asking for it. That's why we set up the fundraisers, because we need the assistance. You know, we're doing everything we can with everything that we got. As far as, you know, hearing from me, you know, I'm a supporter. I'm a big fan of these two guys. You know, this is a team effort. This is bigger than one person. None of us could do any of this without, you know, the support of everybody else. This is just this is a microcosm of our group. There's 30 plus of us. We move around as a group. You know, we represent as a group. When we do things, we do it as a group. You know, this is very big. It's very important. And, you know, I humbly accepted the chairman position, but with all due respect, you know, these guys are just as much leaders as I am. You know, they're looped into the decision making. This is a team effort in everything that we do. When we decide on cases, we do it as a team. When we move as a unit. You know, when we decided to do this podcast, we decided to do it as a unit. You know, nothing is a single person. And we've come to understand that everything we do and every decision we make is bigger than just us.
Mm-hmm.
Well said. Well said, you guys. This has been an absolute pleasure. This is going down in one of my best podcasts ever. And I've done a lot of podcasts. I've done famous people. I've done a lot of podcasts. And you guys have just really blown me away. I am just so impressed. And I'm like, hey, how can I help? What can I do to help further your cause of what you guys are doing? You got the audience going crazy with commenting, and I hope that people in the audience ask whatever questions that you guys needed to ask, because I normally say, okay, ask questions, but I was so engaged as in our conversation. I was very intentional this podcast because I wanted to make sure that we delivered the point, and so I think we did. So I want to go around one last time, and I want you guys to leave a quick, less than 1 minute message of hope, or whatever message that you want to leave to the viewers. And we'll start with you, Larry.
I mean, for me, it's always going to be the same message: free the innocent, free the medically frail, free the over sins. But most importantly, put it down like you want to pick it up. You looking for some joy, put some joy down. You looking for some happiness? Put some happiness down. If you looking just to be an idiot, a bum, then you're going to put that down too. It's all in you and what you're going to do. So put it down like you want to pick it up. 10 toes down. National Organization of Exonerees.
Amen. Marvin.
You know, I'm big on healing. I'm big on, you know, when you go through something, you have to heal. You have to HEAL. But in order to HEAL, you have to climb that HILL. So healing isn't always an easy process. But if you want to heal, you got to get over that heel so that you can enjoy what's on the other side.
All right. Amen. Kenneth.
I think for everybody that's still fighting, what I would personally want you to know is we got yellow shirts on reserve with your name on the back of it. All you got to do is show up. Don't give up. Don't stop. We waiting for you. You know, we're doing our part. We need you to do yours. Giving up is not an option. Laying down is not an option. Quitting is not an option. You want that yellow shirt? Come get it.
That's right. So you guys got to show the shirt. You got to show the shirt.
October 14th, y'all. Let me see. Can I get it?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, y'all looking good, fellas. Looking real good.
Like that.
So what's the website again for the National Organization of Exonerees? Not to donate, but what is the website?
Allies of the National Organization of Exonerees. We all have personal Facebook pages. We all have personal Instagrams. We all have personal Twitters. You know, it's not hard to find. You find one of us, you can find us all, because we're all connected. And we're always irritating the hell out of each other on our own social media. So.
Right. So we'll make sure when the podcast is over, we make sure that we'll put your we'll make sure that I'll add your links to the the comment section or in the advertising section. So when people look for you, then your information is there. So I want you guys to make sure that you send me the, information for your for people to find you on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you want them to stalk you, because they're gonna be stalking y'all after this. Like, hey. So we're gonna wrap it up, guys. We went over our hour. Again, I thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. If I had a third episode in me, we would, but we're gonna do some things on a greater level. And the podcast is just a bonus, right? It's just an added bonus. And I want to shout out to all of the viewers that came in today to support you guys and to listen to the podcast, and all of the wonderful people who have supported you guys along the way in your organization. So I thank everyone for that. And so you guys, I'm going to take you off the screen and I'm going to do my closing remarks. And I'll see you guys soon.
Okay.
Wow, you guys, that was a fantastic podcast. I learned a lot today. When I decided to do this podcast, I was like, oh man, I got to go and study. I got to read. I got to learn something new. I was like, how am I going to do all this with all I got going on? But we stuck with it. They work with me. I work with them. Because as I told you guys before, after coming off of COVID, you're not really in your right mind for a long time. And your body is not at full capacity or full energy as it normally is. And so I just had to have my team help me as best I can, because I had a team member that just his quarantine was over 2 days ago from COVID. So this has been a challenging time for all of us. And these brothers have been through so many challenging experiences. And despite of the challenges that they had to face, they still out here fighting, pushing, kicking butt, taking names, trying to move things to the next level. So if they can keep pushing after spending all of those years incarcerated, man, you guys can too. Because that's what we do here on Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. We like to encourage you and motivate you. We know you have a story. We know you had challenges, but let's address those challenges. Like Marvin said, let's heal from the burdens and the things that was holding you back, that was preventing you from growing to your next level. Because growth is a wonderful thing. When you get through healing, man, you'll look back and be like, dang, I went through that. That makes you a powerful, stronger individual. And so again, I want you guys to make sure that you donate to the National Organization of Exonerees. The link is floating underneath me on the screen. And if you guys want to contact Larry, Kenneth, and Marvin, their contact information will be posted, so you can find them on the social media. These brothers is everywhere. So I just want to thank everybody again for tuning in to part 2 of the Wrongfully Convicted. And so that's my time. I'm your girl, Erica Lynn. And always remember to take one step beyond you. God bless you, and I'll see you.
This podcast was brought to you by EricaLynnSpeaks.com. Sign up for your free consultation today at EricaLynnSpeaks.com/work with me. And just remember, it only takes just one step beyond
you. I say Erica Lynn Speaks.